Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. Today I'm talking about women are more attracted to men they can't seduce easily. So if women are more attracted to men who they can't seduce easily, then what are the characteristics of a man that can't easily be seduced? That's the question, okay? So I have a few things that can help you on that journey. Now, what you'll be interested to know, okay, that it doesn't matter what's in your bank account. It doesn't matter what you look like, okay? And it doesn't matter about how what kind of car you drive. It doesn't matter, okay? Because what it all comes down to in the end is your vibe, okay? And how you communicate with her, okay? So obviously a woman is going to be very attracted to a man she can't easily seduce. And where I got this from, I think Corey Wayne pointed it out first when that I've seen. But I've seen it all across the internet as well, is that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. And that's a scientific fact. I think it was a paper done in Psychology Today. So this is a true fact. This has been backed by evidence, and there's nothing that's been printed yet that I've personally seen that contradicts this. Okay, this is scientific evidence. Okay, so let's first talk about your vibe. Okay, so when you're out on a date with a woman and you want her to become more attracted to you, it's really important that you take the focus off yourself and you start to become more confident. And what I mean by that is when you're on a date with a woman, stop worrying about what you need to be saying. Stop worrying about how you look. Stop being so inwardly focused, okay? Instead, you want to be outwardly focused. And what that means is that when you're on a date with a woman, you should be trying to get her to talk, right? Because when you're getting her to talk, and getting her to engage with you and to communicate with you, you're then taking the pressure off yourself when you're talking to her. Okay, so it's a really good idea that you get out of your head and you just focus on her. Focus on asking her questions and really getting to know her, instead of being inwardly like, oh my God, is she going to like me? What should I do? What should I say? Oh my God, did she not like what I just said just then? Stop being so inwardly focused and being worried about how you're coming across, and instead come from the place of, okay, so I'm on a date with a woman who I find really attractive. I want to get to know her as much as possible with the time that we have together. So I'm going to ask her lots of questions about herself, because that's the best way for me to find out who she is. So when you do that, and you're really focused and you're from that and you're coming from that place, the focus then is off you, the spotlight is off you, and now you're focusing on her. Okay? And also by doing so, you actually get to find out how interested in you she is. Because if you're asking, a lot of questions about her, and you're asking about her day and you're getting her to talk a lot essentially, right? If she's interested in you, she's going to throw some of these questions back at you. And that's one of the great ways you can tell if a woman is interested in you as a person as well. So if you're asking about, where she grew up and about her friends, about her hobbies and the things that she likes and stuff like that, if she likes you, she's going to be asking those things back to you. And if you start to feel really internally like, oh God, I wonder if I'm coming across okay when you start talking, just say something really short. You don't have to go into anything too deep, right? Although it is sometimes good to give more of other than a surface level response. So an example of this would be, let's say someone asks you, or let's say a woman asks you on a date, oh yeah, so these are my favorite shows. I like this one, I like that one. So what was your favorite TV show? Or what is your favorite TV show? And you can say something like, oh, I really like Game of Thrones. Yeah, but don't just say, oh, I like Game of Thrones, because that's going to be not enough for her. She's going to find you boring if you say that. So here's something that you can say. If you want to give a short answer, but you also want to show that you are someone with depth too. So, for example, let's go with that. Say, okay, yeah, so my favorite TV show is Game of Thrones. And you know what? One of the things that I really love about it is that it's basically about this family of young kids who get separated and they're in this really dangerous world. And I really like that concept of them being completely separated from their family and things like that. All right, so that gives you a short answer, but it has depth. And then you can ask something else to her. Like once you've said that, you can say, oh, so what about movies? What movies do you like? Right? And then she might be talking for like a good 15 minutes about different movies, and you can ask her like, oh, so what did you like about that? What part of the story is your favorite bit? You know, you can keep on asking all these questions, and she's going to be talking. And then when she asks you what your favorite movie is, you can say, again, like something short, but give a bit of a deeper response as well at the same time. And I think I learned that from Mark Manson's book Models, I think. So that's how you can do that. So you can show mystery by keeping it short, you know, but also there's a little bit of depth there. And again, you're taking the focus off of you and putting it back to her when you continue to ask her more questions about herself. So that's one of the really cool ways that you can do that when you're out on a date. And what this will do is, because you're putting so much focus on her, it'll make you seem more confident, especially if you're in a very relaxed position and you're just focusing on her and focusing on finding out who she is. It makes you appear more confident because you're not being awkward and because you're too busy thinking about yourself and thinking about how you're coming across. So obviously, it's very widely known that women love guys with confidence. So obviously, you've got to display confidence, right? You've got to display that you're confident. So one of the ways that you can do that very easily is with your physiology. If your physiology is very confident, it's more easy to actually feel confident. So let's quickly go through that. So when you're standing upright and you're talking to her, stand up with your shoulders back, right? And don't be crossing your arms, because that's basically showing insecurity, because you're like worried about, because this is basically a very vulnerable center, right? So if you're not afraid, then you will put your arms by your side, or you'll be holding onto a drink or something like that, or whatever it may be that you've got in your hands. You know, a pen. I don't know what you would have. What do people have on dates? Right? That's a really bad example of holding a pen. So I'm sorry, but anyway, that's, you know, the idea, right? The idea is that you shouldn't be crossing your arms, because it makes you look like you feel vulnerable. That's why you're crossing your arms, so keeping your body sheltered, like your heart and your other organs that are around that area. So stand up with your shoulders back and with your hands by your side, essentially, right? And when you're sitting down, let's say you're having a drink with her, or you're having something to dinner at a restaurant, sit back, right? And man spread, right? That's a very confident man sort of like pose that you see a lot of guys doing. Like all the confident guys that you see when they're sitting down, they man spread. So just man spread, okay? And sit as if you're on a throne, right? In a way, right? And sit back as well. That's really important. So just feel really relaxed, right? And even if you're not, eventually you'll start to feel more relaxed if you're in those physiology positions, okay? So that's another thing that you can do. So that's more about the vibe that you're sending off there. So let's talk a little bit more about communication. And we did talk about communication a little bit there as well. But when you are communicating with a woman, especially through text, okay, it's super, 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 super important that, right, when you are messaging a woman, you shouldn't be messaging her all day constantly, okay? Now, obviously, if a woman messages you, it's okay to respond, but this isn't something that you should be doing all the time. Don't try to get to know her through text messaging, okay? It's okay to arrange dates and set up appointments, like what Corey Wayne says. You know, he says, you know, the phone should be used to set up appointments. So that's exactly what you should be doing. You should be using the phone to set up appointments. So when you call her, when you message her, your conversation should roughly be around when are you free to meet up, when are you free to hang out, arranging those times and places, right? And one of the ways that you can come across as more confident is by saying like, hey, great, it's great to know that you're free on Saturday. How about we meet at this time at this place on Saturday? So you always want to be asking her, when are you free? When are you next available? And when she says when she is, that's when you can arrange a date and set something up and make it all concrete and set in stone. But majority of the time, you should not be getting to know her over the phone. Now, if she sends you a message saying, hey, how are you one day, it's okay to respond and say, yeah, I'm doing really good, thanks, how are you? And she's like, yeah, I'm doing really good. And then you could say something like, oh, I can't wait for our date on Saturday. Can't wait to see you then. I can't wait to be able to give you my full attention then, but at the moment I kind of need to go, but I really hope you have a great day, and yeah, again, I can't wait to see you on Saturday. Right, that's how you can appear mysterious and more strong when you're communicating with a woman that you're arranging a date with, and things like that. Okay, so why are these showing the behaviors that show that you're a man that can't easily be seduced? Well, a man that can easily be seduced will be worried when he's on a date about how he's coming across. He'll be worried about what she thinks of him, even though he's maybe only talked to this girl for like 10 minutes. Like, he's so worried about a woman who he's only just met, how she thinks about him. You should never worry about, because she needs to show for her actions that she deserves that. Now, obviously, if you meet someone like a celebrity, then yeah, of course you're going to be like, oh my god, it's kind of natural to feel like, oh my god, I can't believe that she's this celebrity's talking to me. I hope I come across well. Yeah, because they're famous, right? But this is just a regular woman who you're out on a date with, who you don't know yet, and there's no way that she deserves that level of worry and concern from you. Like, oh my god, I'm so worried. I really need her to be my girlfriend. I really hope that she thinks really highly of me. But you've only just met her. What about her thinking that about you? She should, you know what I mean? Like, she should also be thinking, oh, I hope he likes me. I hope he, it shouldn't always be you. Like, oh, I hope she likes me. I hope she, approves of me. Don't worry about that. If she likes you, she'll like you. Just be who you are, right? Just be your fun, loving self and acting like how you would if you were meeting someone who you've known for years, okay? And who you don't have that sort of anxiety around. Now, it's okay to have some butterflies, right? But it shouldn't override you so much like that, you see, okay? So if you're allowing your emotions to override you and you're really concerned about how you're coming across, so much so that you're basically bending everything that you say to win her approval, then she's never gonna want to date you, and you're not gonna come across as a man who isn't easily seduced. You're gonna come across as a guy who is very easily seduced, because you're already worried so much about how she thinks about you, and you've only known her for 10 minutes, right? So another sign of a man that can easily be seduced is that he's always in her DMs. He's always messaging her. He's always constantly worried about where he's standing with her. Like, oh, I hope she likes me. Oh, I'm going to keep on messaging her to make sure that I keep this intact, right? I really want to make sure I've got to keep the conversation going. Otherwise, I'm going to lose her. If you lose her, and if she stops messaging you and stops contacting you for whatever reason, you just got to see it as her loss and move on. Okay, so those are some things that can really help you become a guy that isn't easily seduced. Okay, so, and therefore you look more attractive to women. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christinelovers.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.